Mm. 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 That's better. There's a fingernail in there. I'm a zombie, but I have standards. Hello and welcome to another rendition of Cinematic Judgment. I am your host, Bryant Parr, and today we're going to talk about zombies, of course. Now, it is not quite Valentine's Day, but it's pretty close. And I promised you guys that I would do a Valentine's Day themed review. So, we're going to be discussing Warm Bodies. This is a classic representation of zombies as well as a love story. And I'm a sucker for a love story. Not so much zombies. I can't stand zombies. But like I said, Warm Bodies is it's a story about a zombie who goes through life, and all of a sudden he meets up with this girl as the zombies are eating these humans. And he meets this girl, and he immediately falls in love with this zombie girl. Which, that is the first interesting thing about this movie. One would think that zombies couldn't fall in love because they're dead. But they do have a heart, however not beating. They do still have a heart. And they do still have a brain, otherwise they wouldn't be alive. So they do have all the pieces that would make them able to fall in love. But just really gets you wondering, how zombies work. I will go straight out and say it. I don't like zombies. I've said this, like I said a couple minutes ago. I don't like zombie movies. I don't get the premise of it. It's just, I just don't get it. They're dead, and they're not quite dead, so they come back to life. They're almost nearly dead, but not quite. So they come back to life, and they have to eat human flesh in order to survive, specifically brains. But if they're all dead, and most of them still have flesh on them, and they all still have a brain, why don't they just eat each other? There's the biggest question. Any zombie fans out there, comment on this video right this second. Stop the video and comment on this. I want to know why zombies can't eat other zombies. That will help me to solve my biggest zombie dilemma. But I do not remember all of this movie. I don't remember from beginning to end. What I'll do before I start a review is I'll watch a movie from beginning to end like 2 or 3 times, so that way I can memorize most of the movie in my head, and then I'll just talk about it in the review. But this time, I got 5 whopping pages of complaints. All these complaints about why I was upset with this movie. So I'm just going to read you off the complaints that I wrote down as I was watching this movie. So the movie starts with a zombie, of course, as he's walking through this airport. It's really funny. It's kind of comical the way the zombie in the movie is named R. The way he really complains about how his life is. He's like, man, I should stand up more, and I should I should eat better and I should do this, that, the other thing. Basically the same thing that we tell ourselves on a regular basis. We go out, we're like, oh, I really want a donut, but I should eat better, and I'm going to eat this instead of this. Or, you're walking through a crowd and you're like, well, do I look like this, or do I stink, or why did this person look at me like that? Just little things in the back of our mind that we tell each other, that we tell ourselves, more like, and it really makes you think. It's really interesting. It's comical and it makes you think, and that's why I was really interested in this movie to start out with. But before I dive right into it, just want to say, like I said, I posted a video a little bit earlier, but as soon as my subscriptions on my channel reach about 100 or more, I'm going to be starting to give away some prizes. So be sure and hit that like and subscribe button. Be sure and leave a comment, because I have to hear back from you guys. Otherwise, I'm not doing my job very well. I don't know if I'm doing a good job or not. Good comments, bad comments, doesn't matter. I want to hear from you. For sure, let me know if I'm doing something bad. I don't mind criticism. Like I said, just please let me know. I'd really appreciate it. And let's start in with this. But like I said, so the movie starts with this character R, and he's going through the airport, and he's, talking about himself, I should eat better, and I should do this, that, and the other thing. And he meets up with his zombie best friend, and they kind of grunt back and forth to each other, and they decide that they're hungry. So they go out into the city in search of humans to eat, and they meet up with this girl right here. This is Julie. Trying not to point at her boobs. This girl right here is named Julie. She's the human in the movie. She's the love interest of R. That's this guy right here. He's a zombie and she's not. Coincidentally, there's never any flowers in the movie, so I'm not sure why there's flowers on the box, but there is. So he meets up with Julie, and these humans are getting all this medicine from these cabinets to take them back to the main colony, and R actually eats Julie's boyfriend, and just kills him, and he eats his watch. He even comments on the guy's watch. He's just like, oh, nice watch. And he just eats his watch. Like I said, it's just a funny movie. But anyway, he eats the guy, and he takes his brains and he stuffs them in his pocket. And he, like I said, for some reason, this one particular girl, he just catches his eye. And he decides to take her with him on back to the zombie colony. And this is my first complaint. I wrote this down a second time when I watched the movie the second time. But the boyfriend of Julie, when they're first about to go out into the danger zone, out into the city, to the danger zone, she holds his hand. Julie grabs her boyfriend's hand because they're going to go out into this dangerous area. And he just kind of brushes her hand away. And I couldn't help but think. I actually wrote this down. I was like, what an asshole. Who doesn't want to hold their girlfriend's hand? I've been angry with my girlfriend before. But if she wanted to hold my hand, I held her hand. It's just a polite thing to do. What a jerk. But like I said, we got a whole bunch of these papers to go through. R wipes when R meets up with Julian. He decides to take her with him back to the zombie colony. He takes a little bit of his dead, gross chest blood Juice's stuff, I don't know what it was. I don't want to know what it was. And he just kind of wipes it on her face. And there's just a little bit right here. And he smells her, and she smells dead. And I don't buy that. Putting a little bit of zombie juice, we'll just call it zombie juice, on a completely living person. Now, remember, these people, the zombies, can smell humans like a mile away. They're like bears. Bears can smell food up to like, I think it's like 3-4 miles away, something like that. Putting a little bit of zombie juice on this one girl, that doesn't make her a dead person. That doesn't make it smell like she's dead. She's a totally living person. She's warm. You know, the other zombies, I realize they probably can't feel, but they would be able to tell this is a living person who just got a little bit dirty. You know, I don't get it. But it's Hollywood, so it's quite obviously working. So he takes, Art takes Julie back to the airport, and you can hear in the background that the airport still has power. No. No. I don't buy that. Not at all. I don't buy that for a second. This is an apocalyptic future. What happens in every apocalyptic future? I don't care what... Any apocalyptic future. The Terminator. All the power is out in these buildings from the past. There's no power. And therefore there's no intercom. Mind you, the intercom was broken. It glitched when the voice came on. But there's no power. There's no reason for that intercom to be on. And even if there was power, there's no one to program it. You know, those intercoms turn on every single day. You know, there's got to be someone, I don't know how airports work, but there's got to be someone in there that flips the intercom switch on every day. Or at least programs it in there or whatever. They're all dead. There's no one to do it. Now, mind you, there is, when you... there is this security guard guy who, you know those metal detectors, the wands, you wave it and it goes rear, rear. There's this security guard zombie like rear, rear, and he just lets R and this girl pass. Now, I'm just gonna let that one slide since there's still employees doing their job. There's even a janitor in the movie still sweeping. So maybe there's some zombie turning on the intercom every day. Alright, why not? But it also got me thinking, there must be several levels of dead. There must be several levels of brain dead. Because in the movie, R constantly criticizes himself. He keeps saying, oh crap, I shouldn't be creepy. Smile, do something that's human. In order to, you know, impress this girl so that he doesn't seem as intimidating. There must be several levels because his brain is still working. Of course, you could argue that, you know, their brain must be still somewhat alive because otherwise they wouldn't be able to walk and grunt and eat, but whatever. Then R takes her to his airplane and where he's got all this really cool stuff. I like the idea that this zombie is slowly collecting little tiny trinkets and he's taking it to this airplane where he just keeps all this crap in the back, where he even has one of those old record players and all the vinyl, and he plays music. It's really interesting this zombie's life. It totally goes against everything about zombies. Zombies are supposed to be cold, dead, and hungry, and that's it. But it's really interesting. But it goes into a really interesting explanation as to why zombies eat brains specifically. Zombies eat brains in this movie because it's kind of like dreaming. Brains are kind of like drugs for zombies. You know, once you eat brains as a zombie, real brains, not this crap that I slopped together. Once you eat brains as a zombie, you get the memories of the person that you ate, and that way you feel a little bit more human as you're going on. And it's really interesting. You're like, oh, well, that makes sense, you know. So like I said, there's a couple things in this movie that really makes you question why it is that zombies do what they do. But the next thing on the list that I complained about, there are the colony, the human colony, is surrounded by this huge concrete, steel, whatever stuff they can come up with. This huge, giant wall. I didn't see any zombies climb on this on anything in the movie, so I don't know why they made it as tall as they did, but they did. It's like as tall as a 3-story building, which makes sense. It's surrounded by buildings, so I guess that makes sense. But there are so many holes in this thing. You wouldn't believe it. You wouldn't believe it's an apocalyptic future. There's holes in it as Swiss cheese. You know, you might as well be walking along and there's great big gaping holes. There's not gaping holes, but, you know, zombies notoriously pound on things, and they're constantly smashing their way to get into things. The movie I Am Legend with Will Smith. The zombies, when Will Smith is in that facility, that medical facility below his house, these zombies are smashing their way through this glass. They're just throwing themselves up against this glass, and the glass is constantly breaking. Zombies do that in almost every movie. They're constantly smashing things and trying to break in and get, you know, these humans. So, anyway, this girl, R has a flashback has a dream that when he ate the boyfriend's brains, he gets a dream in his head, this vision in his head of what this boyfriend did when he was alive. And this girl and her boyfriend basically sneak out of this highly secure fortress, and basically sneak out in there. That was not difficult to do. Any zombie just happened to be there could easily stick his head through and smash his way through. It wouldn't even take much. It didn't take much. The girl just opened the door and walked through. That was it. The girl and her boyfriend. And I'm thinking, you know, what the heck? You know, it's a good thing there wasn't any zombies around. You know, this that fortress has as many plot holes as this movie. But anyway, so R goes through and he's sitting there trying to impress this girl. I don't know. The power of zombie boners is strong, I guess. Anyway, the girl wants to go and R wants her to stay. And she's like, just let me go, just let me go. And there's zombies outside. You want to leave when you're completely safe with a zombie who's not going to kill you? I mean, come on, what the hell are you thinking? You know, you go out there, there's a horde of zombies out there just waiting to eat you. And don't give me that whole I smell like I'm dead, because that crap is wiped off your forehead. You know, that little tiny bit's off your forehead. And, you know, you're about as an impressive as a zombie as I am. You know, with all this fake blood and crap. Anyways, so R goes out to get this whiny little girl some food. This whiny girl, she's not little, she's like, she's got to be like 25 or something. But he goes out to get this girl some food, continuously trying to be nice to her. He gives her a blanket, he tries to get her some food. You know, he doesn't eat her, which is almost programmed in him biologically. And this chick just leaves him, you know, without any, you know, note or anything. You know, I don't know if zombies can read. But, you know, I was like, Jesus, woman! This zombie's trying to be nice to you. This zombie's your one ticket out of here, and you're just gonna leave without him? Use your head. Seriously, Hollywood. Girls are a lot smarter than you make them out to be. Okay? You know, was there a strong, independent woman thing? You know, they're a lot smarter than you give them credit for. They quit making them do dumb stuff. They're not that stupid. They're gonna sit there and they're gonna be smart. But without stupid women in Hollywood, we wouldn't have movies, so whatever. As well as stupid guys. Don't get me wrong. As well as stupid guys in Hollywood. They're just stupid people in movies. Everyone in movies is an idiot. But anyway, R tries to tell... R rescues this girl again, and brings her back to the airplane and gets her some food, and he gets her some food, and he's trying to tell her that, you know, what his name is, and he's like, my name is something, and he's trying to remember his name because it starts with an R. And she goes, oh, you have a name? And I thought, well, of course he's got a name. He's a human. He's dead and a zombie, but he's still a human. He had to have a name at some point. But, anyways, so he tells this girl that she can't leave quite yet, because the zombies would notice as she walks out, because apparently just a little tiny bit of zombie juice on you makes you not dead and noticeable to the other zombies. That's like the only intelligent thing that they said throughout the whole movie. And then this happens. This girl and the zombie... This girl is like, well, what am I going to do for a couple days? R tells her that she has to stay for a couple days, and then the zombies will forget. And she's like, well, what am I going to do for a couple days? It immediately cuts to a next scene where they're driving a BMW. By the way, BMW product placement. I even wrote it down. Something like that. Yeah. I wrote it down. BMW product placement right here. They're driving this BMW. Oh, also, R brings her a beer. Again, being nice to her. I'm going to tell you every time that R is nice to her, because something's going to come up that's going to make me really pissed off, and you're going to think back to all the times he was nice to her. But R brings her a beer, a Corona beer, which is another product placement. I even wrote that down right there. So anyway, this girl can't leave the airport because the zombies would notice, which would make you think that she's got to stay in that plane for a couple days. No, they're walking around the freaking airport. Not only that, they walk across the airport lot, into the airport, past the horde of zombies, and into the freaking parking lot, where there's all these zombies people, you know, just sitting and waiting. Goes into the parking lot and drives this pristine BMW, again, BMW product placement, very loudly around the airport landing strip. Am I in another movie? Is this what's going on? What the heck? You know? You gotta try and be quiet. There's zombies all around you that want to kill you and eat your brains. They wouldn't even think about it. And yet, you go out and buy and drive a BMW completely around the airport, which is very loud, you know, and what the heck? You know, what the heck? You know, you can't just do that. And in the scene, there's two little zombie girls. There's a little boy and a little girl. Zombies that are sitting there watching these people the zombie and the girl drive around the racetrack. I get that there's a zombie there with a metal detecting wand, and there's one guy pushing a broom, but a BMW, a zombie would have noticed that. A zombie would have pulled you out of that car and ate both of you. The other zombie just for principle. But let's pretend that zombies driving cars is perfectly okay. Oh, by the way, the zombie drives the car. Yeah, he has her drive the car. Yeah, so the little girl zombie and little boy zombie are sitting there watching. Nice job not being noticed. And then when R pulls the BMW into the parking lot to park the BMW, he smashes into another car. I get that. He's a zombie, probably doesn't have very good coordination. Why would you let him drive a very fast car with you in it? But whatever. Anyways, the airbags don't deploy in this BMW. Now, I realize that it's the apocalypse. Certain things aren't going to work. But this is a freaking BMW. They jumped in this car, it fired right up, and they are racing around the track just like it was right off the line. That just doesn't work. That's bad product placement. I even wrote that down, bad product placement. If I had a car company, I wouldn't want someone to drive it in this movie and have the airbag not deploy. That makes me look bad as the BMW owner. What the heck? But, anyways, so R and this girl go back to the big airplane that R lives in. Again, walking through hundreds of zombies that would notice if you left. Back to the airport, and this girl. Now, let me tell you a little bit about zombie apocalypses, okay? Let me tell you about this girl's life. She is living in an apocalypse. She probably hasn't had food in a couple of days. Of course, she did get something to eat and a beer. Corona specifically, product placement. She is not being eaten by this zombie, which is in and of itself a biological miracle from God. She is getting a conversation out of this zombie. Again, a miracle from God because zombies don't talk. Except for a couple of times in the movie the zombies talk. Which again is stupid. Zombies don't talk. Anyway. And this zombie, all he can do is shrug. He's like, the girl says something, well, what do you think of this? And he's like, ugh. And she's like, quit shrugging. That's such a non-committal gesture. Quit shrugging. And the zombie's like, ugh. And I was like, you're in the middle of an apocalypse. There's zombies. It's not a non-committal gesture. They're dead. They're not going to get much more personality out of them. They're not Jay Leno or Conan. You're not going to get that kind of great personality out of them. And, God! This movie makes me so mad. Quit being so upset. Quit your bitching, woman. But anyway, the next thing I wrote down. So they're in this airplane trying to keep a low profile after driving very loudly across the airport track. And they're playing music really loud. Nice job not being noticed by all the zombies around you. Stupid people. Keep it down. R and this girl fall asleep, separated. Don't let me forget about the power of zombie boners. This girl, let's see. Oh, yeah. This girl does another stupid thing because apparently people are just stupid in movies. Apparently people don't have any brains at all. This girl, after a couple of days, decides to just get up and leave. Um, she just got up and left. Didn't tell R where she was going. Didn't even tell R that she left. And like I said, just got up and left. Didn't do anything about it. R saves her again. And they start to notice. She starts to notice that these zombies are coming back to life. And they're starting to get more of a personality. They're coming back to life. Their hearts start beating a little bit again. Afterwards, and the R's best friend, the zombie. If you watch the movie, you know who that is. Decides to help them escape, and the Bonies are chasing after him. By the way, when they get in the BMW and drive off, which is no longer broken, by the way, because apparently BMWs just fixed themselves, except for the airbags. And they drive away, and it kind of occurred to me, does this BMW have a full tank of gas? I mean, because they drove it for a long time, and they drive it continuously throughout the movie. It does eventually run out of gas, which leads me to believe that it is, in fact, have a full tank, but that doesn't make any sense. Anyway, so the Bonies are chasing after him. This girl jumps into this BMW, and the BMW that they're driving is a convertible. It's a short little red convertible, and they drive it completely out of the city. Now, there are some cars out there that are specifically only convertibles, or only topless cars. That means they don't have a top that goes to cover it. It's just the car without the top, and there's no top. But this particular BMW was, in fact, a convertible. I know that. I looked this car up. It does have a top. It folds up into the trunk. And you're driving it in the rain. They drive it through the rain, through this random-ass house, out in the middle of nowhere. Stop and put the thing up. They even complained about being cold. This girl complains about being cold in the movie. Turn the heat up, put the top over it, roll the windows up, and get warm. You are technically the only heater around. There's a heater in the BMW, and, don't give me that BS that the heater doesn't work, because obviously the rest of the car works, and you've been driving it for a significant amount of time. So they get to this house, and this is funny. They get in this house, and the door is locked. Well, first of all, why is the door locked? The entire neighborhood was evacuated. So, what are they afraid? The zombie's going to come in there and run up the cable bill or something? They get in there, and they find this camera. Now, this camera, even by today's standards, is ancient. It's one of those old ones where you took the picture, it's kind of square looking. You took the picture, and the little film comes out, and you shake it, and the picture comes up. First of all, they take like 500 pictures, which I don't even believe that camera had a full charge enough to take that many pictures, because they got a whole big damn stack of them on the table. Took all those pictures, and it works perfect despite being out in the cold and everything else, and the wet and the rain. And I realize it's inside of a house, but eventually the house has to be maintained. There's going to be dust and crap and animals, living in there and going to be tearing the place up. I don't believe that camera works. I'm calling TV bullshit. But anyhow, like I said, I complained about the house being abandoned and locked, and this is page 3 of my complaints. Okay, so this is the funny part. This would make me freaking laugh my ass off. This girl, again, is in the middle of a zombie apocalypse with a zombie as a best friend. And she's afraid. She doesn't want to sleep alone in the house because the house scares her. You are in the middle of a freaking zombie apocalypse. Earlier in the movie, you were fighting off zombies and shooting them with a shotgun and looking like a badass. I was rooting for you then. You know, now you're just too scared and afraid to sleep alone in the house, which, by the way, the power of lady boners is strong for zombie boners as well. If I faced a horde of zombies, I wouldn't even be afraid of God after that. You know, I would not even be afraid of that. I'd be like, come and get me. I have faced zombies. I am not afraid of you. That would make me the ultimate badass. But she's afraid to sleep in this old creepy house. And just want to smack you one. It's like, use your head, Hollywood. Come on. But anyway, like I said, that's not how television works. You know, you don't be totally unafraid of zombies and then totally afraid of a house. That's not how television works. Anyway, so this girl has, the zombie has a dream, which zombies don't dream, so why is he having a dream? Anyway, R has a dream where, this girl and her best friend, the girl, and her ex-boyfriend are sitting in this field, and R walks up to him and basically Julie starts talking about how she's going to exhume the world, and her boyfriend have this very small argument about what exhume means, and he's like, well, exhume means to dig up a corpse, and bear in mind, he's pretty negative about it, but that's what that means. And she's like, no, exhume means to revive. No, I looked it up. I looked up the official definition, which means to dig up a corpse, to dig up a body, and especially in the cases of a corpse. That's what it means. It doesn't mean to bring back to life or to revive. It doesn't say that anywhere. You know, so quit. God, these characters are so stupid. They don't use their brain. She leaves without R. Anyway, not gonna complain about it because I don't got much time. Anyways, so again, now here's where I'm telling you about all the nice things that R did for her, like not eating her, bringing her food, giving her a blanket, and playing music for her, which is a miracle. That he found vinyl that works, and a record player with power that's non-existent. He wakes up from a dream that zombies can't have, and this chick just took off out of nowhere. No car, this poor guy. I feel really bad for R. He is sitting there, he wakes up, and the girl is gone, the car is gone. He is stuck in this cold house by himself. And he's walking in the rain and he's cold. He even complains about being cold. It's like, what the hell? This guy was so nice to you and you just got up and left? But, anyway, I'm going to kind of rush through this because I want to get done with this video before it reaches an hour. No, actually, you know what? I think what I'm going to do is call this particular video part 1 because I'm up at 39 minutes right now. This is the official part 1 of this video. Next time I won't write as many complaints about the movie, even though I'd be justified in doing so. This is the end of this video. Be sure and stay tuned for part 2 of the Warm Bodies review on Cinematic Judgment. Thank you very much, and go to the next video.